Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, today in just 5 minutes, we want to find out what's coming up this year in the crypto space. It is not an easy one to predict, just because it is so volatile.
Absolutely, and last year was probably more volatile than most, with the collapse of crypto exchange FTX causing a huge amount of reputational damage to the sector. Remember, this is general information only, and you should get professional advice before making any investment decisions. Josh Gilbert is a market analyst at social investment network eToro. Josh, how would you describe 2022 in the crypto space?
Yeah, that's definitely not an easy question. Look, I think it was all in all a pretty torrid year for investors in 2022. I think we had a fair bit of initial excitement and a fair bit of optimism coming into the year, given that we had a new high for Bitcoin and a really strong year in 2021. We've had, numerous headwinds, obstacles throughout the year, which was, as I say, that difficult period for investors. And I think we saw that rising correlation between equities and crypto as well, where the two sort of traded in tandem. But yeah, look, I think all in all, it was a pretty torrid year. And I think this year in 2023, I think we're sort of laying the groundwork for a bit more of a positive year.
So one thing about what happened last year and all that volatility is that it's made people become more rigorous on crypto as an asset class. So do you think investors will approach this sector somewhat differently given the year that we've had?
Yeah, I think the unfortunate events that we have had shine a bit of a negative light on the crypto space. But ultimately, I think we need to remember that this is an asset class that is still maturing. It's still a new asset class. And we've seen a couple of black swan events this year. And I think the bottom line here is that these crypto assets will probably remain under pressure until we see some more clarity around those issues that we have had this year. I think it will take time as well for general investor sentiment to sort of return. And I think that's probably going to, impact investors directly and indirectly in that sense. But I think really these sort of blunders that we have seen this year, I think will lead to more transparency across the space long term. And I think it will bring some more accountability and trust into the crypto market.
And do you think that some of the crypto or the digital currencies will drop out, but then some of the bigger ones, which have got great technology behind it, potentially will do better?
Yeah, I think we've already started to see that in 2022. Those assets with little utility in, say, blockchain, or if they don't actually provide any real world use cases, I think they are going to sort of really come under pressure and will struggle to thrive in this environment. So like I say, unless the crypto assets provide real value in some way, then I think they will continue to struggle and we will see capital just continue to flow into those bigger names such as, say, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
What about outside cryptocurrencies, things like NFTs? Do you think they'll become more mainstream in 2023?
Look, I think the NFT sort of euphoria, if you like, it has the potential to sort of make a bit of a comeback, especially as we see the sort of more use cases of the technologies, the tokenization of real world assets. I think that's really, growing. And that's growing amongst institutional investors, big names getting into the space. We saw that in 2022, Disney, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Nike, even the Australian Open. So I really think that there is potential there. I don't think it will be an amazing year for NFTs, but I think we just continue to build the building blocks for a bit of a stronger future. And I definitely think the technology there has some real life use cases. As I said, that sort of tokenization is going to be really important in the future. But as I say, we're still in a very difficult environment with at the minute higher inflation and higher interest rates. So it may take some time for NFTs to really come back into the limelight. But I'm sure it will be a better year next year.
Okay, so if I'm an investor thinking cryptos, thinking NFTs, it's kind of watch the market for the time being, it seems, Josh.
So I think, obviously looking at sort of this year, I think regulation is going to be a big discussion. I think that will be welcomed by most of the industry. But I also believe that what we've seen in 2022 was, as I say, higher interest rates, higher inflation. That's been one of the reasons that the market has driven lower. So if we take the opposite view of that in 2023, that we're going to see lower inflation and lower interest rates, then it probably means that we're going to see investors willing to add some more liquidity into crypto again. And I think that's taking a bit more risk onto portfolios. So I definitely think we're set up for a better year, not necessarily believing we're going to see, new highs from these crypto assets, but it's definitely a stronger year than what we had in 2022.
Thank you, Josh, for joining Fear and Greed.
Thank you very much.
That was Josh Gilbert, market analyst at social investment network eToro. So, Michael, I think I'm not going to jump into investing in cryptos, but as an asset class, it's going to have matured after last year. And listening to Josh there, it's certainly worth keeping an eye on things like cryptos and NFTs.
Absolutely. And of course, this is all general information only, and you need to get that professional advice before making an investment decision. One thing's for certain, Sean, we will be talking about cryptos all year, I suspect. I love talking about it.
You do. I know that.
All right, that's it for today. Make sure you hit follow on the podcast, a new episode every day, and regular business news back from January 16. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed.